Good morning. I'm Savani. I'm an assistant professor at the Adam Mickiewicz University in Poland. The following are my personal views. These do not represent the views of my institution or my research funding agency. And I admit that there is a conflict of interest. I am a PI, principal investigator, in two zebrafish based research grants funded by the National Science Center in Poland. I recently wrote and published a manuscript, Blind Man and an Elephant: The Need for Animals in Research, Drug Safety Studies, and Understanding Civilizational Diseases. This manuscript is published in open access mode. It is online in the Animal Models of Experimental Medicine journal. I wrote this manuscript because I felt I should speak up and because also it is for my students. I think some of us know that there is a strong push towards using new technologies, new artificial intelligence tools in biology field. And this is to understand the secrets or the general principles of biology, or to find the new drugs, or even to do drug safety studies. The question is, are we truly ready to embrace this? Are we ready for this big, gigantic jump? Many others have set their views. Some say it's okay, some say it's not okay. But the following are my personal views and my arguments. Now, historical texts have several variations on the blind man and the elephant parable. If you have heard the story, the blind man and the elephant. The issue with the story is that every blind man's perception and description of the elephant was true. But what was lacking was the completeness of the truth. Most of us are alive today because of the drugs that is available for us to treat diseases and even vaccines for disease prevention. And this is possible because scientists like those blind men are trying to understand that elephant. The elephant, the full elephant, is the biology, the field. The entire field is the elephant here. They are so far aware of only a small piece of that elephant, and we have come so far. The question now is, do we still need animal models to find new drugs? Let's go back in history. Let's go back. So, did our ancestors use animal models to identify drugs? I don't know. I don't know how the early Chinese physicians or Peruvian shamans they recognized the value of wormwood plants and chinchona trees and used it to treat symptoms of malaria. I don't know how some African shamans knew how to induce labor in pregnant women with their African folk medicines such as Kalata Kalata. I don't know. Now, think about these facts. These medicines existed even before the first patented drug ever in the history of the man. Now, how did they know about it? What did they see, or what experiments did they do that they realized the potential of these medicines? Did they do clinical trials? Did they use animal models? I don't know. My best guess is no. However, what I know is that they are very likely good observers. They know the stars. They know which mushrooms to eat. They know which mushroom they must not. They know what was that small sound in the night. Was it a pack of wolves? Was it why was it so silent? Or why all of a sudden the birds flew away? These are very important skills to survive, to learn, to react even before an impending danger. This is a matter of life or death. And that is how our ancestors lived. I think they lived in a close relationship with nature. I think maybe they saw sick animals with malaria like symptoms consuming those plants and got healed. Or maybe they saw pregnant animals eating those plants before giving birth. I don't know. This is my best guess. Probably I'm wrong. But but majority of us we do not live in such times anymore. Look around our fancy metropolitan cities. In some cities, it's even hard to see a tree within a kilometer. We don't even see birds in some cities. What about animals? A zoo in the city? This is the best we have? And is this enough to understand how animals interact with the nature? Some peoples could afford to have a dog or a cat in their home. Even those dogs are stuck in a home that is on the 18th floor of a building, and people rarely take such dogs out for a walk. Now, with this modern world that we live in which we have forgotten our past, we have lost our touch with the nature on a daily basis, how must we find drugs like how our ancestors did? It's not possible. So, in my opinion, biologists are simply one of those blind men trying to understand a small piece of that elephant. In this process, they hope to treat cancer, they hope to treat Alzheimer's disease. The issue is that right now we put our trust in a handful of a blind men who strongly believe or who are able to strongly lobby that their interpretation of the elephant is the only true interpretation of the elephant, and this interpretation is enough to understand biology or even treat all the diseases. I think there's a big mistake. So, in this manuscript, I have explained where we are today based on the Western science, the ground reality, the hard truth that scientists are aware of, but will probably admit it in closed door over a cocktail dinner, but not outright in the public. Barry Marshall, the Australian researcher, went against the medical dogmas. Nobody trusted him. People thought peptic ulcer is just about stress. The doctor said you better take a stress-free job. They prescribed antacids, they prescribed proton pump blockers. But then Barry, they were just one of the blind men trying to understand a small piece of the elephant. He asked, what is causing peptic ulcer? He asked, what are those bacteria doing in those biopsies of those patients? Why is it there? He used animal models to show that it is this bacteria, Helicobacter pylori, that is causing peptic ulcer. But nobody believed him. They mocked him. They ridiculed him. He wanted to prove something so badly to the world. He even drank the bacterial culture. He got the ulcer. He went for the endoscopy. He treated himself with antibiotics. He again went for endoscopy. And this is how he proved it to the world, that a simple bacteria called H. pylori is causing peptic ulcer. Now, this is a story of one of the blind men trying to understand the elephant. Why? What are we going to do if we completely stop working on animal models? Do you think those fancy organ on chips and AI tools will be enough? Those are all still patented, and many countries cannot even afford them. In my personal opinion, I don't think so, because it will only reveal a small fragment of that elephant. But having said all this, I could be probably wrong. So I invite all of you to read my manuscript and decide for yourself. I would like to finish with the words of a social historian, Daniel Boorstin, and which also Barry Marshall stresses. The greatest obstacle to discovery is not ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge. I thank you.